Welcome back to Movieworld Recaps. Today, I am going to share an action, adventure, and comedy movie about a reclusive romance novelist on a book tour with her cover model who gets swept up in a kidnapping attempt that lands them both in a cutthroat jungle adventure. There will be spoilers ahead, so watch out and enjoy. Loretta Sage is a famous author who is known for writing big adventures about a character named Dash. She is working on her latest book, and as she writes, she imagines herself and Dash in a dangerous situation with snakes and bad guys. But she finds some problems with it and deletes it all. She is under pressure because her husband, who was an explorer, died years ago, and her publicist wants to see the latest draft of her book. Later, Loretta, who is wearing a purple sequin jumpsuit, is asked to talk about the book at an expo. Her publicist and social media manager encourage her to go. Alan Caprisun, who is on the cover of Dash, will also be there, which makes her not want to go. She goes anyway, and Alan comes on stage wearing a fake blonde wig to a huge cheer from the crowd. A fan asks Dash to dip Loretta at some point in the middle of the show. She tries to go through the motions, but Alan's blonde wig falls off, putting a stop to the presentation. Loretta goes outside instead of going to the next interview she's supposed to be at after her publicist tells her off. She breaks up with Alan after they have a fight. She calls for a car, and all of a sudden, a black SUV full of mysterious goons picks her up. Alan sees her leaving and tries to follow her, but he can't. Loretta meets Abigail Fairfax, a strange billionaire who sends her a bunch of cheeses to try to win her heart. He says that an artifact points to a mysterious treasure on a small island, which could be destroyed by an erupting volcano at any time. He asks Loretta how much she wants, but she won't tell him. Then he tells her that a plane is waiting for her, and then he knocks her out. Alan feels bad about what happened to Loretta when he gets back to the hotel. He, her publicist, and her person in charge of social media try to find her. He finally calls Jack Trainer, an old friend he used to do yoga with, to help him find her using her smartwatch. He tells Alan to meet him on the island and that he'll bring her back within 48 hours. Loretta wakes up, and Abigail leads her to a campground where she has set up shop to find the island's treasure. He has tied Loretta up and told her to go to work. Alan goes to the island like a tourist and meets up with Jack. The two of them get into a small car and drive to Abigail's compound. After a short nap, Abigail puts even more pressure on Loretta to figure out what the clue he found about the treasure means. He wants her to do it again, even though she already did it. Trainer sends out a number of his men while Alan, who can't stay in the car where he was supposed to, acts as a useless backup and hits one or two of Trainer's men every now and then. The two finally find Loretta, but they can't get her out of the chair because she's tied to it. As explosions go off, they end up carrying her chair and all out of the compound. They walk back to the car, but before they can leave, Jack is shot in the head and Alan is covered in his brains. Loretta is still sitting in the chair when they finally get into the car and drive away. Abigail is mad that Loretta took the only piece of the puzzle with her, so she wants Loretta to come back. Loretta and Alan stop after Loretta fell out of the car during a quick getaway. Alan gets her out of the chair, but when they get back to the car, it falls off the edge of the cliff, making it impossible for them to call the police. They finally get to the car, but the phone is broken, so Alan suggests that they go through the jungle to get to the airport so they can call the police. Abigail's forces are still giving chase. Alan gets covered in leeches, especially on his butt, during a quick trip in a small pond. Loretta pulls the leeches off of him, and they eventually get to a waterfall. Here, Loretta uses the clue she stole from Abigail to figure out the rest of the mysterious puzzle he was trying to solve. This shows that the treasure is hidden somewhere with endless tears. The two then almost get caught by Abigail's men, so they climb up a mountain to get away. Alan tries to help Loretta by pushing her from behind, with his head between her legs. In the end, they get to the top. The two set up their camp and talked about their adventures until they fell asleep in a small hammock. In the meantime, Abigail calls on 3 bad guys on motorcycles to join the chase. Alan finally finds out what Loretta really thinks of him the next morning. She tells him that he's just a cover model who wants to be noticed. Alan admits that he has a family and likes being Dash because it makes the fans happy. He makes fun of Loretta for not trying to make the fans happy, though. The two people start moving again, and they end up in a small village. After talking to the local police about safety, the two of them clean up and start talking to the people in the village. The publicist has been trying to find Loretta and get her back the whole time. She takes a small charter to a small airport, where they tell her there's no ride. She meets Oscar and his goat here, and they are happy to take her there. When she finally gets to a small police station, they tell her that they are closed. She finally gets them to agree to help her. Loretta and a local woman dance for a bit, and the woman gives Loretta a hint about where the pool of endless tears might be. She then asks Alan to go with her to find the treasure. She convinces him, and he goes to get some supplies while she is happy to have found her sense of adventure again. But Abigail is waiting for her, and she gets her back and starts to drive away. Alan rides behind on a small motorcycle. After a short chase, Loretta sets fire to the inside of the car while Alan fights, badly, with the bad guys on top. The two are eventually caught and taken to the island, where Abigail is desperate to find the treasure. They get inside, and one of his goons falls off a cliff after making fun of Loretta. They go through a short tunnel and find a tomb on the other side. After breaking into a tomb, the treasure turns out to be nothing but seashells that a man gave to his lover as a sign of his love. Sad that they haven't found anything, Loretta and Alan are trapped in a tomb by Abigail as the volcano starts to erupt, but not before his goon gives them a crowbar. After talking about their adventure for a few minutes, Alan uses the crowbar to get them out. After his henchman takes off with the boat, Abigail is met by the publicist and the police. He acts like he's a victim and says he didn't do anything wrong. Loretta and Alan barely make it out of the tomb after all the explosions, but the publicist finds them and brings them back. After telling the truth about Abigail, he tries to run away, but Oscar stops him, saying that he has the publicist's back. Loretta and Alan rest on a nearby rock and remake the cover for Loretta's next book, which comes out a few months later. In the last scene, the publicist, the social media manager, and Oscar are relaxing on an island after the release of their book. Nearby, Loretta and Alan are talking about the relationship they'd built over the course of their adventure. After a few strange words, they kiss. In the mid-credits, Loretta and Alan are doing yoga to calm down. Here is where Jack Trainer comes back. They can't believe he's still alive, and as they go back to relaxing, he can't help but give them strange looks. That's all folks for today. I hope you like it. Please subscribe to our channel for more content like this and hit on the like button to help us out. You can also leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time.